Hi, thanks for coming on. Andy with you here, Sunday, 12th of December, with a review of the Scottish National League, etc., and all the results. Just to say, I'll be back Thursday. There is a couple of games Tuesday and Wednesday, but I'll put them up on Twitter if I hear anything. I don't think, at the moment I would be interested. A couple of teams there that you do fancy, they're sort of underpriced. So let's see where we are on Tuesday evening. But let's go through these members' bets we had. We'll start off in the Premiership. Dundee United 0, Livingston 1. We were with Dundee United, disappointed. Not a lot else to say, really. Dundee United were rated to win. There was value in the price. It was an obvious bet, wasn't it? But sadly, it didn't come off. Ross 3, Dundee 2. Tough one, this one, wasn't it? As I said at the time, Ross were rated to win, and they did win. Obviously, there was more value in Dundee than there was Ross because the draw was playing such a big part. But Ross won. I didn't have any interest in the game, but obviously pleased the top-rated team won. St Johnstone 0, Aberdeen 1. Again, much similar to the bet above. I did say it 34 and 42%, wasn't it, this one? There was 0.13 in Aberdeen. It was probably close enough to you could certainly make a case for backing it. On a poor week you would have done. There's more value in St Johnstone, but again, the highest rated team won. St Mirren 1, Hibs 1. Again, the draw. Somebody did email last night and say to me again, it was another draw, sort of 26% and over, which did actually finish in a draw. Hibs 41%. You could have made a case for backing Hibs, and again on a week where their value would have been thin on the ground, it would have probably been a bet, as would this one. Hearts 0, Rangers 2. That was this afternoon. It's not very often you're going to get value in a Rangers bet, as I said at the time, but there was 0.06 in it. It's minuscule. It's still 6% for your money. You're getting 6% extra for your money. So if you had 100 quid on, you'd have got back 100. You got a bit more than what you should have done. Because I think they should have been 4 to 6. I don't know what price they were because I didn't back them. Celtic 1, Motherwell 0. They were rated to win, obviously, but as I said on Thursday or Friday, 2 to 11 is ridiculous. So obviously no interest there for us. Just the one bet in the Premiership, Dundee United, which let us down. Championship, didn't have a bet in the Championship either, did we? Hamilton haven't put that result up. We didn't have a bet in that one. Dunfermline 3, Queen of the South 3. 46% Dunfermline. There was a small case you could make on the ratings. The value was with Queen's Park. It was a no-bet game for us. The next game I'm absolutely livid with myself because this was the most sort of obvious members bet that you could have got, and we didn't do it because of my distrust of Morton. You got a team rated over 50%, so straight away they should be odds on. You're getting odds against. There's 0.19 in it at 51%. I'd take it all day long, but I didn't because of my, as I say, distrust for Morton. Game finished 6-1. Obviously, I didn't think it would be 6-1. But I expected an Inverness victory, obviously, on figures, and we should have been with it. And I can only apologise to members for that because that is an obvious members bet. 51% at 11 to 10. We should have been with it. We got paid 19% more for our money, and we weren't with it, and that's an error on my part. Partick 0, Arbroath 2. Again, this was a real tough game to call, as was the bottom one, but it went the way of Arbroath. 0.3 at 31%. Probably not quite enough, is it? But I don't know what to make of Partick. They blow hot and cold, but Arbroath are a decent side. I expected them to be really struggle this season, but they've played a lot better than what I've given them credit for, and fair play to them. Wraith 1, Kilmarnock 0. Again, this was a real tough one to call. 0.3 at 40% would usually interest me, but it was the fact that we were getting a bit in Kilmarnock. I know it was only 0.03 at 38, and Rangers were better value, weren't they, and higher rated. So, I mean, you could certainly have made a case for backing Wraith. We didn't have a bet in the game. So that's League 2. Let's go on to League 1. Airdrie Queen's Park was off. Alloa 0, Clyde 1. This was a members bet. And someone said to me, how did I arrive at this as a members bet? I'm going to come to that now, because show you something very interesting on Alloa. Now, versus the top 5, they've won 4, drawn 3, lost twice, which is fantastic, isn't it? 15 points, an average of 1.66 points per game. I mean, look at that. They've lost at home to Cove. They've taken 4 points off Montrose, 4 off Queen's Park, and I've put a little star there because that's the only home defeat Queen's Park have suffered. 3 points against Airdrie, 4 points against Falkirk. Now, that is 1.66 average points a game. They've played 17 games this season. Now, if they'd have run at that consistently, they'd be on 28 points, be third in the table. But just look at the performances against the bottom 4. Absolutely horrific. Won once, drawn twice, and lost 5. And the only club they've beaten at home is the bottom club, East Fife. But I mean, they've lost twice to Peterhead, twice to Clyde. It's really, really poor. The other thing as well, why I was with Clyde, obviously, not just because of the value. There was almost a point in Clyde, but they'd shipped 7 goals in their previous 3 home matches. I don't know what it is, and people say, well, it's because they play on the counter against the big teams. They don't play that way. It really, really is a tough one to get a handle on, Alloa, but I just thought I'd put this up because somebody said, how did I arrive at it? I mean, look, 0.9 at 32%, straight away you're interested in that. And like I said, I did say I couldn't have my odds on. I said Clyde, when I put the video out, was extremely tempted. And like I say, you go and look through this, you have to back Clyde. Alloa's performance against the bottom teams has been lamentable. It really is. I just find it so difficult to assess them. They're not betting material at all. We've backed them this season. They've lost. We've backed them this season. They've won. But they're not to be trusted. And as I say, that figure there at the bottom is, 0.9. There's almost a point in Clyde there was, so it had to be a bet. Dumbarton 1, Montrose 3. We with Montrose. Again, the makeup of this bet was very similar to the one of Inverness. And yeah, I harp on about the Inverness bet, but we should have been with them. We were with Montrose. It was a good bet. They're still unbeaten away from home. I think that's 1-5, drawn 4. So really chuffed with that. Falkirk 0, Cove 3. I was tempted with Falkirk. Half a point at 33. It was a real tempter. I did expect a bit of a bounce back, but I think unless they've got to sort this manager situation out and quick, I think promotion's going to be beyond them. But Cove are really in a purple patch at the moment. And like you compare the two bets, you've got Alloa at 47, Cove at 44. Alloa was much stronger on the figures, and there was obviously there's more in Clyde, 0.9, 0.5 at 33 or 0.9 at 30. So you're always going to go with this one. But I did expect a response from Falkirk after that tanking last week at Queen's Park, but it wasn't forthcoming. Don't know what to say about them. I think they've got to sort the manager situation out this week if they can. Peterhead 1, East Fife 1. Absolutely distraught with this. I thought this was an absolute stone bonking certainty. 66-23-11. Yes, I think Steve Crawford coming in as manager has clearly lifted East Fife, but I knew somebody was at the game, kept me updated, and it just wasn't a great performance from Peterhead. And this is from somebody that goes all the time, and if he expected them to win like I did, and they didn't. I'm not going to say I got this one wrong, because if I come up with a bet at 66%, 19 to 20, they were bigger than that. They went off 21 to 20, I think, or that was available, then I'm going to take that every day. Sadly, this result just happens to fall into the 34% of the time that it doesn't win. Let's go on to League Two. Annan 4, Elgin 1. This was another one we should have been with, and we weren't. Really frustrated. I said when the coupon came out, I said it looked favourable for us, and it was in a lot of areas. But there was two bets, well, possibly three, but two bets we should have had was Inverness and Annan. Forfar 2, Stirling 0. I actually backed Forfar because Saturday lunchtime I had a look through. I saw they were 11 to 10 with, I think it was Betfair Sportsbook. And I did say I thought they would shorten, but they drifted, and I jumped in at 11 to 10 on Forfar. I didn't back Annan or Inverness either, which it could have been a really, really decent week. Kelty 6, Albion 1. We were Kelty half-time, full-time. I've explained about Albion on the road before. Go back through one of the other videos, and I've explained about Kelty half-time, full-time. I think we've been with it 4 or 5 times this season. It's won every time. Don't do it every week, but there's certain times to do it. Stenhousemuir 2, Edinburgh 2. Real tough game to assess, this one. You could have been with Edinburgh on a poor week, 0.1 at 40%, but not this week. There was too much value splattered about the coupon, but sadly I ignored the Annan and Inverness. But again, we could have ended up with 8 bets, really. Stranraer 2, Canterbury 0. This was a 2-point win bet for us. Again, this fell just below the bet, the Peterhead bet, but thankfully it won for us. And again, 61% at 5 to 6. You give me that every week, we'll all be millionaires within, one day. Let's have a look at the results. It was a really, really good week. But as I say, we should have been with Inverness, and we should have been with Annan. But I mean, we had 6 bets to give out 8. Oh, crikey! But we'd have had 6 winners from 8. We started off the week 2.9 points down. We finished the week 0.29 down. So really happy, particularly the amount of damage that bet's done. Clyde were 3 to 1. Montrose 11 to 10. Kelty was 19 to 20. Stranraer 5 to 6. That was a 2-point win bet. As I say, I backed Forfar as well at 11 to 10. But Annan and Inverness should have featured there. And to be honest, I don't think we'll see a favourable coupon like that for a little while. It really was one of those that I said there was a lot of value about this weekend. But this is really interesting, and I'll be interested to see how this pans out throughout the rest of the season. I mean, I think they've got Cove away next week. I mean, you'd have to fancy Cove, but it wouldn't surprise you if they rocked up there and won. I don't think they will, but it just wouldn't surprise me. But Falkirk, they've got to sort that manager situation out. Let's have a look at the National League. Eastleigh 0, Aldershot 3. There was a lot of value about, but it was thin, wasn't it? I remember saying 0.2 in that. Torquay 2, Stockport 1, 0.2 in that. Those two both come unstuck. Wealdstone 0, Halifax 1. We were with Halifax. The 60% and overs, I'll come to that now. Absolutely unbelievable. If you're watching this video for the first time, this is the 60%, teams that are rated over 60%, but there's no value in them. There's been 15 of them, 14 have won. Absolutely incredible. I mean, I don't know what the average strike rate should be. I mean, to find that out, you've just got to add all these up, divide them by 15, and And I would imagine you'd probably come out with something like 61.5 or something like that. And that's what strike rate we should be achieving. But 14 out of 15 is just absolutely was ridiculous. And 5.64 on 15%, that's over 30, it's heading towards sort of 40% profit on investment, which is ridiculous. And as I say, there's no value in this, but it keeps winning. I don't know what to say. Let's have a look at the National League North anyway. Alfreton 1, Gloucester 1, Hereford 2, Curzon 2. We with Alfreton and Hereford, both rated to win, both didn't win. Both should have been odds on. Hereford was 90, was a shade of odds on, wasn't it? 19 to 20. Brackley 60% against Guiseley, they won. National League South, this was decent for us. Bath 0, Hungerford 1. Now, that was 7 to 4. You could have got 7 to 4 on that, and I know about the Dulwich, I'll come to that in a minute, but 7 to 4 on Hungerford was widely available because there was money for Bath on Friday. So there was 7 to 4 on about Hungerford. Eastbourne 1, Havant 2. I thought Havant would win this weekend. It's at home that their problems are. 6 to 4 was a decent price. St Albans 3, Hampton 0. They bounced back to form, didn't they, St Albans this week? Sorry, Tonbridge 2, Dulwich 2. 7 to 5. I mean, there was 7 to 5 on the Friday. I don't care what Odds Checker says. I take no notice of Odds Checker. I've said that before many a time. It's owned by bookmakers, run by bookmakers, run for bookmakers. 7 to 5 was there on the Friday, and like I said to people many a time, don't just back bookmakers on Odds Checker. Do a bit of digging. Find other places. As I've already said, Manny Bernstein's one of them. Look about. You'll find others. Find other things, places that will take your bet besides the ones that are on Odds Checker and stuck in your face all the time. There's plenty of places you can get. I'm not saying that 7 to 5 was available on like the Friday night or the Saturday morning, but it was available on the Friday. Odds on for Dulwich. I mean, there was plenty of money for them. I expected them to win. They didn't. Disappointing. National League then. That's ridiculous, isn't it? But we started the week 0.1 down. We finished 2 points, so we lost 2 and a bit points, which in old money or the Scottish is 1.075 or something ridiculous. So we lost about a point in old money. Disappointing week on the non-league, and we had a very good week of non-league last week, and that coupon the time before, whereas in Scotland last week it wasn't so good. But we'll see what next week brings. There'll be plenty of times between now and the end of the season where we have good weeks in Scotland and good weeks on the non-league together, and we'll make a profit on the non-league by the end of the season. 2.15 is nothing. You only needed, I don't know, say if Alfreton and Hereford had both won, that sort of wipes that out, doesn't it? And I say there's loads of time, but this is what interests me at the moment. I find it incredible, because you're talking about 14 out of 15, which is, I don't know, it's just absolutely incredible. It has to drop off, that's all I can say. But if you're backing them and making money, then brilliant. But it's not something I can bring myself to do, I have to say. But there we are. That's it. I'll be back Thursday, but keep an eye on Twitter because there's a few games on Tuesday and Wednesday. I don't think there'll be anything interesting, but we'll see. So check Twitter Tuesday. But I'll be back Thursday. Good luck, whatever you're doing. Bye for now.